going to give you 3 mindset shifts that can change your life. Activation or transformation, moving from one place to another, is way, way more than just starting a new diet fad or, I'm going to start reading every day. Transformation is something that has to hit here and here, and it has to move into your life. A lot of people just want to jump into the action. I'm going to start doing this every day, and then want to change. Other people are like, you know what? The environment I'm around is what's totally trashing. I'm just going to get out of it. I'll be better. But what people don't account for is the fact that if you change up here, everything else can change. And they don't want to believe it. But they forget that 86 billion neurons in your head are firing 5 to 50 times a second. You have 86 billion neurons in here are firing between 5 and 50 times a second. And they're running on a neural pathway that they're used to running. There's an average of about 60,000 thoughts you have a day. And if those thoughts and that neural pathway has gone the same way for 20 years, for 30 years, how are you going to make a change by just saying, oh yeah, I'll do another thing? You have to vote it in. You have to vote it in your mind. You have to vote it in your action. So here's your mindset shift. You ready? So key number 1, when it comes to changing your neural pathways, to redefine it, it's way easier to upload than it is to download. So just say, oh, I'm going to stop thinking that way. I'm going to stop thinking that way. I'm going to stop thinking that way. Is way harder than to say I'm going to add something to my thoughts. So for example, right, you have the famous studies that are out about happiness being associated with gratitude. The more you practice gratitude, the happier you are. There's study after study. It's clear. And so what you do is 3 to 5 things a day you write down. I'm grateful for this. Just think about this. I'm grateful. I upload in my mind gratefulness. Just 3 to 5 thoughts a day consistently. And all of a sudden your happiness shifts because your mindset shifts, and that affects your mood. It affects your heart. It affects your actions in your day. So piece number 1, when it comes to mindset, remember, if there's something you want to change, if you want to become a more grateful person, you upload consistently. Upload. You think about something. You don't know how to do it, set an alarm, right? And, at 3 o'clock every day, you're going to list 3 things you're grateful for. I'm going to tell you about my mind shift, though. My mind shift is about health. I was 307 pounds. Right now, I'm at 325, 82 pounds. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting more defined. I have more energy than I've ever had. And the mind shift that I had was that I am a healthy person. I'm going to say that I smile when I say it. I'm a healthy person. I wasn't healthy. It was dangerous. My cholesterol, my breathing. But the biggest shift wasn't in the actions. Yes, actions were important. Yes, eating better was important. But I defined myself as someone who exercised. I defined myself as someone who eats healthy. It was in the way that I talk. It was in my lingo. By the way, I speak to my clients about this. And just talking to them or putting something on social media about my health helped inculcate in my mind the way that I spoke about it. It made a shift in my mind that I was defining myself as healthy. So, it's already been 3.5 minutes, but you'll see. Mindset, the shift is uploading, choosing the thing you want to think, the person you want to become, and upload it. That's mind shift number 1. Mind shift number 2 is mind gets translated into words, and your words transform your mind. They work together. The way you think is the way you speak, the way you speak is the way you think. If you want to change identity, if you want to be something different, you better start saying it. I am smart. I am smart. I don't get tired. I don't get tired. I'm becoming stronger. Or I don't get as tired as I used to. I'm more determined. I'm an entrepreneur. The words themselves are defining in your mind who it is that you are. And it affects the way that you think. Okay? There's research upon research upon research about this. And finally, your last mind shift is going to be the following. Okay? I need you to open your mind on this because you might not believe me on it. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you think it, your brain accepts it. Also, it's research. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you think it, your brain will create a neural pathway to work and operate in that way. So on the negative side, that means that if someone says something that's garbage and you think about that, say, oh, you're garbage, right? You're not worth it. You're unhealthy. And you hear it over and over, even if you know it's not true, it's going to mess with you. But at the same time, if you are worried about what people think and you want to switch that, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, as long as you tell yourself it. Your brain will shift that way. So what do you say to yourself? I say in my mind, I don't care what they think. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they think. So aside from the fact that your mouth is going to develop that in your mind, if you can work that way, even if it's not true, even if there's parts of you that do care, as long as you're committing to that thought and creating the neural pathway for it, I'm committing to the fact that I don't care what other people think. I'm going to do what I want to do because inside I want it, I deserve it, and I want to become that person. So number 3 is that as long as you are repeating it in the way that you're thinking, it will change the way that you operate. So we're just going to review. What are our 3 changes? Number 1, 86 billion neurons are firing, and it's hard to stop it from firing. But what you can do is you can upload new information, even as small as 5 things that you're grateful for every day, changes and makes you happier in 1 to 2 weeks. Out of 60,000 thoughts, just 5 of them, you just have to upload the new thing that you want. I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. Number 2, your speaking affects your thinking affects your speaking. If you choose to say the right things and define yourself through your words, I'm strong, I'm worthy, that will affect the way that you think. And finally, even if it's not true, it's going to affect you. So if you're hearing something that you know is not true, but it's negative towards you, it'll affect you. If you're thinking something that you want to be true, and you think about it in that way, even if you know somewhere in there that, oh, it's not totally true, I do care about what my friends think or something like that, but you keep thinking in your head, I do not care what they think about, it will create a new neural pathway in your brain, and you will define the way that you operate differently. Mindset, it changes everything. Go get them.